Phone booth fighting, breaking news, Frank Mir. Just as we sat down to record here, we got the word that UFC 249 has been officially canceled. So we're going to react to this for a moment and just kind of walk through the details of it. And I'm going to just be looking at it and reading it kind of as we talk about it. But First off, what are your thoughts? I mean, Dana White seemed really dug in that this was going to happen April 18th, and there was talk of a private island and Indios and all kinds of stuff. It seemed like come hell or high water, it was happening, and all of a sudden, nope, not happening, and all UFC events are suspended indefinitely. What do you think caused the turnaround?
Well, I think that there's a lot of other people that are involved, with the UFC. I mean, obviously, they have network, agreements. So I think that, if this had been 10 years ago when it was just the Fertittas and Dana making all the decisions, maybe they could have, they would have been, more control. But now, there's a lot more deck. There's a lot more captains. And so I think you have a situation where, some of the execs, the TV guys, didn't like the idea of taking the chance of being the only person out there holding up a flag when everybody else is, shutting down shop and being the sole voice out there. So, I would have liked to have seen it if they could have made a fight. I think that UFC could have done it safely. I think that, fighting wise, that because of the nature of our sport, if you can do pro wrestling, you can do fighting. I firmly believe they could have had no transmissions of the virus and done it in a very safe way. That would have been very beneficial towards people as far as entertainment. And everybody's trapped in their homes right now. But on the flip side, I was nervous about backlash. There's a lot of people out there that have been, just looking to be haters and just be angry and just, and that can come from social media and the online and everything. And, I'd be lying if I told you that wasn't in the back of my mind, nervous that, again, the UFC is the number one organization for MMA. So, they're our flagship. So out there and they take a bad hit, that renaissance, that resonates amongst all of MMA. So, in one sense, I'm a little disappointed. Another, I can kind of take a breath of relief knowing that, all right, at least nothing bad's going to happen to us as far as, any bad publicity or any backlash that could have occurred.
Quote from Dana White, and he talked to Brett Okamoto for ESPN, and he confirmed to Brett, Frank, that it was ESPN and Disney that called him and asked him to sign on this. He said, here's the quote. He said, I told you this whole thing has been a battle since day one. We've been fighting nonstop all day and all night since this pandemic started to put on this event on April 18th. And today we got a call from the highest level you can go at Disney and the highest level of ESPN. One thing that I've said since we started our relationship and partnership with ESPN, and it's been an incredible one, it's been an amazing partnership. ESPN has been very, very good to us, and the powers that be there asked me to stand down and do this event next Saturday. And, we talked about that, Frank. We talked about the fact that you just said it there at the beginning. It's not the old days where it's just Dana and the Fertittas. You get these big corporate partnerships, formed, and they've got a lot to answer for outside the world of MMA, especially when every other sport is stopping. And you also have to think about opening up in a worms where it's like one sport's going to be going, well, how come we have to shut down if this one isn't? Well, how come if? And I think even though you get the arguments like, well, this is a singular sport as opposed to a team sport, or this is fewer people at a time than like a golf tournament or a NASCAR event, I think at that point it's going to be kind of, to a lot of people, splitting hairs. It's just going to be like, why are we even getting into all this? Let's just all agree we're going to stop. And I think it kind of looks like that's what happened. I tell you what, I'm a little relieved about it. I saw another layer of this. No, I'm a lot relieved about it, actually. I saw another layer of this. I don't know if you saw this just in the last 24 hours, but few days back, Rama Yunus dropped out of her fight with Jessica Andrade, and that was going to be the main event. Well, her management released a statement within the last 24 hours that said that the reason that she's out is because she's had 2 family members die from coronavirus. 2. So, one, totally understandable, but also I think that adds another layer to it. It's like, could you imagine doing the event, somebody gets desperately ill, and then you've got that backstory of, hey, did I get this right? Didn't somebody who was supposed to be on this fight actually have 2 family members die from it, and you still decided to replace them? And you see what I'm saying? Like, that ain't good either.
Yeah. Nope, 100%. Yeah. I think it was a good call in the end. Again, like I said, I was all for it. I saw the merit behind it, but I think that the potential negative backlash that could have occurred from it, and in the essence of everything, smoothly and no transmissions. If someone did get sick, we would have all kinds of hell to pay.
Mm-hmm. And you also had the Joe Rogan factor. He had gone on record as saying he wasn't doing it, and he had been asked again in the last few days, and he said, "I'm not sure. I'm still looking at it." But I mean, it would be tough enough of a call to make when everybody involved is 100% in, but when you've got people that are starting to say, no, I don't think it's worth running the risk, and you got somebody else going, hey, I got 2 funerals to go to from this thing, I can't be, I mean, you adding layer upon layer like that, and even the best case scenario that you're hoping for, which is working's going to go smoothly with no repercussions, still has that kind of stigma attached to it. Nobody ever wants stigma attached to any of their any of their endeavors, I would say,
No, it got to that point where I think it was the right call.
Yeah, apparently so. All right, well, there you have it. No UFC, all events suspended until further notice. Means that they are standing down, and they're like the other professional sports, and just wait until this thing is over with. And you know what, Frank? When this thing is over with, it'll be MMA Christmas. It'll be like, can you imagine what all those fight cards are going to look like, both in the UFC and Bellator and everywhere else? It's going to be after week of nothing but stellar fight cards because there's going to be a big backup. That won't be a bad thing.
Yeah, a lot of guys probably not fighting in their weight class the first couple shows.
Frank will be like, how come the heavyweight got so competitive? There's a lot more people in here. Didn't I see you with a featherweight belt last year? Yeah, totally. All right, this has been some Phone Booth Fighting breaking news. Subscribe to our Phone Booth Fighting YouTube channel, like and subscribe to our free podcast, and check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/phone booth fighting. Thanks for covering some breaking news for me, Frank. Talk to you later.
All right, man.